What if a monster with glowing red eyes was not a myth, but a chilling omen of a future disaster? This week, we're diving into the legendary story of the Mothman, the winged creature that terrified a town and seemingly foretold a tragedy. We'll explore the eyewitness accounts, the startling theories, and the enduring question: was it a prophecy or a phantom? Tonight on Newsworthy, two words and two question marks.
He's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
You have scoured the podcast world and finally found us, Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, where we delve into all things mysterious, macabre, or out of this world, and decide if they are truly newsworthy. Two words and two question marks.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number 1, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre-approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number 2, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number 3, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number 4, consider all the costs. Number 5, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
Jerry hates that part of the show.
It's because it messes with his hearing aids.
You're trying to say I don't even hear that part of the show? Is that what you're insinuating, Brett? I can still hear Axel. I'm losing my eyesight, losing everything else, but I can still hear.
That's good. Yeah, I don't know if I had to lose any sense, I don't know what it would be. It'd probably smell, obviously, but besides smell, because that's an easy one.
Eyesight, I think, would be everyone's last.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because if you're blind, I mean, unless you're Daredevil, you're pretty much.
Life becomes tough.
Yeah.
Well,
that it does.
If you lose your sense of smell, though, you inherently lose your sense of taste.
I'd be okay with that.
Oh, okay. There you
Both
go.
better than losing eyesight. I agree with Brett.
Yeah, if I had to lose, I mean, I don't want to lose taste, obviously, but I mean, you could live with that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really change your life too much, other than you wouldn't eat as much probably, and you definitely wouldn't spend as much money on food.
And I'm not anorexic now, so I don't think if I were to eat a little less, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
That's what happened to me in COVID. When I lost my sense of taste and smell, like food was just like you didn't enjoy it anymore.
Yeah,
it was weird. It was weird. It was a weird experience.
Real quick sidebar while I'm thinking about it. One of our OG listeners, Double, is having some pretty serious health battles. Just if you are a praying person, please keep them in your prayers. They can use all that they can get. We love you. We're praying for you. We hope that all works out exactly how it should. So
Absolutely. We'll certainly keep her in our prayers and glad to hear that name. Hadn't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, been a while. What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to tell you guys, I got a brand new hemp rug for the first front door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't get excited. It's just a gateway rug.
My,
good
my.
one.
That was
That's a good one.
wonderful.
I liked it.
That was for Clay.
That was a pretty good one. Did y'all hear the CEO of IKEA was elected Prime Minister of Sweden?
Really?
Huh.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations to him.
He should have his cabinet together by the end of the weekend.
lucky. A couple of handfuls of spare parts.
I just want to give a quick shout out to IKEA. Probably the best store I've ever been to.
Really?
We bought like a bunch of bookshelves, and I mean they're big, and you'd think that these boxes would be huge. You see the ones at Walmart. I mean they're like this thick. I'm like, how do you fit all this stuff in there? And you open it up. There's no paper. There's no styrofoam. Everything is super easy to put together. And then when you go to the store, you see everything like laid out and like they have everything staged. You can get meatballs there, which are phenomenal.
What
Yeah,
a
so-
weird thing.
Well, they have like a food court type of thing.
They're known for their food court.
And the meatballs are phenomenal.
There's two or three other things. They're known. I mean, kind of like Costco, but Costco is known for cheap prices, not great quality stuff. IKEA is known for very good quality food.
Yeah, that's really good. So if you haven't been, it's definitely worth a drive up there. Plus, you can be near Newport.
Is Cincinnati, is that the closest one to us?
It's like right outside Newport. It's not in Cincinnati, I don't think. It's a little outside, but yeah, it's about the same distance.
Yeah.
So now we're learning exactly how far Brett will drive to eat some balls. Nice to know.
I was gonna say something, but this is PG.
Huh?
I was gonna say something, but this is PG. So
I mean, you said they got great meatballs, so
they do.
One thing I decided this week, I'm sure Brett will have no problem believing this, and Steve either, since Steve thinks I'm older than dirt. But I decided that when I die, I want to go like my grandfather did, in his sleep. Not like the 46 passengers on the bus that he was driving. You like that one, huh?
wow.
You really like that one.
I wasn't expecting that punchline.
Me either. Whoo! That turned dark quick.
Steve, you
So-
should have been expecting that punchline. I told that joke like 2 years ago.
I think that I would like to. I've often said I wanted to be cremated or put into like a tree, like a root ball for trees. They make those now. But you know, if I was cremated, you could put me in an hourglass and I could still make game night. So that'd be kind of cool. Just a thought.
It would be
Just
cool.
a thought. Oh,
Your tooth would get like stuck in the hourglass part.
no, they take all the bones out.
Do they?
Anything that doesn't burn, yeah, they just get rid of that. They don't.
So they have it like a sifter in there to.
They take
Yeah.
nothing out, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
Well, here's the deal. They get it hot enough that it will incinerate everything, I do believe.
Because I know with like animals, don't like usually you can find like teeth and things like that. I know that for a fact.
I don't know. I haven't researched cremation that much.
I haven't either. I might get cremated. So
I just can't see the whole thing about being buried in a casket is so abstract to me because, first of all, I know you're dead, you're not even there, but I'm a side sleeper, and that just freaks me out trying to think that I'm going to spend the rest of eternity laying on my back. Not going to happen, huh? So unless they can put me in the casket like on my side, I'm out. I don't want any part of that. That's stupid.
It
Can you
says
imagine
bone-
how? Huh?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, can you imagine how after an eternity of being on your back, how miserable you're gonna feel when you wake up and never mind.
It says bones do not burn to ash during cremation. Cremation uses high temperatures to reduce the body to pulverize bone fragments. So it's not ash, but it is pulverized bone fragments. So you got me. I don't know what's left.
No thanks. I'm out.
Interesting return to this conversation.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry's getting up there in age, and we, as his friends, Brett, we have to have these conversations with him so that we're prepared and that he's prepared. And, we have to just be, if you have family members, you have to, aged family members, you have to have these conversations.
Well, when you're 1,003,
I certainly appreciate your guys' concern. I really do. I can tell it comes from a good place. Oh, no. But yes, thank you. Thank you both.
So, Mothman, that's where we're at tonight, right?
yeah, they just had the Mothman Festival last weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
It actually kind of ties into what we were just talking about, believe it or not.
Cremation.
Well, death and cremation and all of that stuff, burial.
There you go.
Well, the Mothman legend took flight in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, between November 15th in 1966 and December 15th of 1967. The very first reported sighting came a few days earlier on November 12th of 1966, when a group of grave diggers in Clinton saw a massive figure gliding between the trees above them. They described it as a brown human being with wings. What a chilly way to start a cascade of strange events. Why would grave diggers be working in the middle of the night? Are they grave robbers and they're just trying to be nice? I really tried to find that answer and I couldn't.
Yeah. Good question.
Maybe they don't want the family to see him digging. I don't know.
I mean, how else does a hole get there?
Maybe they went for lunch and had a few too many beers and were way behind on schedule, so decided to dig some graves at midnight to catch up. Other than that, I have no clue.
Yeah, it was just crazy to me. That's kind of how Mothman started, with some grave diggers in Clinton. Just looking up, seeing this huge thing. Now, we don't have any red eyes yet. All we have is like a big brown human with wings. The rest is yet to come, I assume. Man.
Yeah.
3 days later, the two young couples that basically made Mothman famous, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mallette, reported seeing a 7-foot tall creature with glowing red eyes and white wings near an abandoned munition site known as the TNT area. It chased down their car, screeching through the night, and followed them to the very edge of town. That encounter made headlines. And that encounter is the big one. So I hope I didn't take that from one of you guys. But that's where Mothman started. Now, I glossed over it, but we have a lot to unpack there. First of all, when they first saw Mothman, they floored it. They're in a 56, 57 Chevy or Buick, I think it was. And they floor it down this country road. Now, some of the things that Mothman has been attributed to may be fast, but I don't think they're scared as out of your wits driving down a road in a 57 Chevy fast. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I would agree.
Totally agree.
One of the things was an owl. One of them was some sort of migratory bird that has a red head.
Are you talking about what people think it was?
Yeah, what they were trying to, the sheriff's office, when they went, because as soon as they got to town, that's where they went. Hey, this thing happened. And they were like, maybe it was just this or it was that. Or,
Yeah, there's like they were calling it like a big shite poke heron. And if you look up a picture of that, it's like, doesn't look anything like a human.
No, nothing at all. In fact, the Point Pleasant Register, the local paper, even said that couples see man-sized bird, creature, or something. But that's a pretty, that's two different two different and completely unconnected sources that have seen something at this point. In the Loveland Frog we've talked about a little bit, no one really, there aren't many matching stories as to what that is. This one, we already have two, and it's only been the first couple of days.
Yeah. And the red eyes is something that I heard a couple people say when they talked about, they didn't obviously mention Mothman, but they kind of thought it was Bigfoot, but they saw like a big humanoid creature with red eyes. And so I'm just wondering if whatever this thing is somehow related to those as well.
Well, red eyes can be attributed to eye shine, which is something humans don't have. Most things that have some sort of nocturnal vision has some sort of eye shine. The story really, really took off with the book, however, that was immortalized by John Keel, The Mothman Prophecies, which blended paranormal speculation with actual eyewitness accounts. The tale gained more traction with the 2002 film adaptation starring Richard Gere. Ooh. So what do you guys think? Sandhill crane, a heron, owl? What do you think? Newell Partridge even blamed the creature for strange electrical disturbances and even the disappearance of his dog.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that whatever it is, I feel like it's somehow related to Bigfoot. I'm wondering if like the wings are just something that, like where the first couple of people saw it, or like I don't know. It's hard to say without talking to the people, but I'm just wondering if, it's very similar to a Bigfoot type of creature.
Jerry?
I got a question for you, Steve. Earlier, you mentioned the TNT area where the couples saw this or close by. It's also a hotspot of where a ton of not only the original, but since then, a ton of the sightings occurred. Do you think that there's any connection with the environment itself that's part of the mystery? It's called the TNT area because during World War II, that area, there's an 8,000 acre area that was supposedly devoted to ammunition manufacturing. But it was more than that. They also had several laboratories on site, and it is still to this day considered a hazardous waste site by the EPA, which leads me to something I've heard you talk a lot about in the past, which is a ton of this type activity tends to be associated with nuclear waste sites. Do you think that this TNT and the TNT site in its history has anything to do with the Mothman?
I think that that's a very logical next step. First, and that's assuming that you agree that there is such a thing as a Mothman, right? We're not counting it as an owl or a heron or if there is a creature there. The TNT area now today is still located on 3,655 acres of wartime industrial land. It's occupied currently by farmland, woodlands, and wetlands that have over 31 ponds. And there's still explosives and laboratories on the place. So it's like, if there were going to be an opportunity for something to be created, either intentionally or accidentally, and it to not be found by the people who created it intentionally or accidentally, pretty good scenario. 3,600 acres is a big chunk of land.
Yeah.
You mentioned there were still explosives there. There's still live explosives there. The last explosion occurred on May 17, 2010. So 15 years ago was the last explosion.
It's crazy. Did you know, on a separate and completely side note, that the very last of the nerve agent at Bluegrass Army Depot was destroyed last month? Yeah. So there you go. Just so you know, Mitch McConnell, who we've often lamented, kept good on his promise and got rid of it, every bit of it. So good for him.
Good old Mitch.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that, but you're giving him way more credit than I would want to.
I don't see how he stayed so long. But anyways.
So Brett, tell us something about Mothman.
Yeah, so we were talking about, what could Mothman be? Excuse me. Well, John Keel, who wrote the Mothman prophecies, he did have a theory on what Mothman could be. So roughly a year after the Point Pleasant sighting, in December of 1967, Jerry was 60 at that point, right? 65?
270.
I was
2. When you think about the 60s, at least for me, the 60s seems like it might as well be the 1700s. It's just so far. Anyways,
Brett. Seriously.
December of 1967, the Silver Bridge, which is located in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, it collapsed during rush hour traffic. It killed 46 people, 2 of which they never found any remnants of. The report was released 10 months later that the collapse was due to an eye-bar failure. It turns out that there was a flaw. It was 0.1 inches deep, which is not very big. And that caused a weak point with the rush hour traffic. It failed, and then it created a train reaction. People had connected the collapse with the Mothman sightings at the time. So it turns out that there was around 100 Mothman sightings reported throughout that year of 1966 and 1967, which makes me think, how many of these sightings were not reported? Because the 60s, I feel like that's still kind of a time of, like, Jerry's generation is kind of like a no nonsense type of generation. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't seem like a lot of people would just start making stuff up, because it seems like they would just be seen as crazy. Even the Scarberries, I don't think that they ever really wanted to talk to anybody about it. Like, they wanted to kind of keep it hush hush. And so, I just think that the amount of sightings is something to note. Just because, again, those are just the reported. How many of these are not reported?
That's one of the things that Jerry uses as criteria for divulging anything. How many sightings by how many credible different people? A couple things, Brett. You mentioned that you thought maybe this had something to do with Bigfoot. The only catch with that is the 2 couples that were screaming away from the TNT area reported seeing it above their car, and keeping up with it above their car. Which, like, if it were a Bigfoot or something like that, it would have to be beside their car, which there's plenty of reports of Bigfoot being able to keep up with vehicles going up and down the road sideline them or whatever. But that was very pointed that they said it was above their car, and they were looking out to see where it was because they were scared to death.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that there was like there was a couple volunteer firefighters who witnessed at the same time this creature, whatever it was. And so again, it seems like there's a lot of credible people who reported this. So again, it's just, I think that's amazing. But anyway, so there was all these sightings right before this tragic incident of the Silver Bridge collapsing, right before this happened. So a lot of people started theorizing that maybe Mothman was an omen. And the story kind of grew because as soon as the Silver Bridge collapsed, the Mothman sightings just disappeared, right? They kind of stopped abruptly after this incident. So the whole theory of them being an omen. So anyways, sorry to go back to John Keel. He talked about this theory of the Mothman was there to warn people of the bridge collapsing. And so, in my opinion, if he was there to just warn you, why is he chasing the Scarberries down the road as they're trying to drive away? That was one thing I kind of thought of with this, that kind of poked a hole in this theory.
Yeah.
Terry, what are you doing there, Slick?
Just thinking about what Brett just said. At the very least, the timing was eerie, right? Even if it wasn't prophetic, which is kind of what Keel said in his book and what some of the people were saying at the time, immediately after that, they started saying or wondering, was this an omen? Was this prophetic? But even if that's not the case, it was extreme. The timing would have to be very eerie. So what do you think? Coincidence? Eerie? Something else entirely?
Yeah, I would agree with you, because if you just think about, like, when we look at data for the podcast, you see those lines going up and you see like a big spike, and you go there to look and see what that is. Well, if you just plot all of the sightings, you're going to have all these dots and lines all throughout this whole year, and then right at this incident, you're going to see it drop, and then there's never any more sightings. You would say, okay, well, something happened here. If you were just looking at data, you didn't even know that the Silver Bridge collapsed. So to put those two things together, I think it does make sense.
Yeah.
I would like to throw one more thing into this mix, because this whole area is just wrought with paranormal issues, alien encounters, there's just a lot. Have you guys heard of the Smiling Man?
Don't think so.
Ingrid Gold is his name, I believe, is what he said his name was. Well, that's a whole different story for a whole different podcast. But I'll give it to you in a nutshell. Gentleman was driving down the road, saw what appeared to be an alien craft of some sort. Now, this is in the 50s, so most anything that was not an airplane was an alien craft. Okay, so let's just throw that out there for the so that it's out there. But Indrid Cold was his name. But anyway, the guy who made the reporting, his name was Woodrow Derenberger, was making a drive, stopped, and when he stopped to look at the craft, there was a guy that was just standing there smiling. And while he was standing there smiling, he introduced himself as Ingrid Cold and proceeded to tell him he was in that ship from a different planet and he would be seeing him around real soon. So he went back, got on the ship, and flew off. Now, that's from memory. So if it's wrong, please don't don't obliterate me too bad. But that was in this general area as well of West Virginia. Isn't that crazy that so many things happen? You know, you were trying to link it with Bigfoot. Here I am trying to link it with some sort of alien or paranormal type deal. And I don't have an answer, to be honest. You know, Bigfoot, we can sort of, if you believe that it's a real creature, you can sort of say, well, it's probably this, you know, it's probably some species of that. You can't really do that with a 7-foot moth.
Yeah. Well, psychologists, they have a theory. It's called mass psychogenic illness, MPI. So basically, it's just a rapid collective spread of physical symptoms or irrational beliefs within a population that is stressed. So Point Pleasant, the people who believe this, they argue that Point Pleasant was under stress right before the sightings started to happen in 1966. So one reason that they say this is the Cold War was creating a lot of fear and distrust, especially right after World War II. In that community, like we mentioned before, they had a munitions factory, so they were greatly affected by World War II. And so again, just going through World War II very recently before this, I can understand their fear and distrust. And then there was also, like you said, there was other reports of strange lights and UFOs in the area. So again, I guess the theory is saying that because of this, that people would just start hallucinating and seeing, this big 7-foot flying moth. I think the thing that doesn't make sense to me is how they would all see the same thing. Or maybe if they're just hallucinating a creature and they've heard that the description of what other people saw, so they just kind of envisioned that. I don't know, but to me, this theory doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, me either. One or two people who have had interactions with someone else who's seen it, okay, maybe those two people, your mind is more open to it, but an entire city, and you mentioned that it was considered an omen because of the bridge. Were there ever any sightings of Mothman on the bridge?
I can't remember.
There's a very famous picture of one, but that was a picture. That was not, supposedly based on. So was there? Good question. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. Another thing too is like some of the several of these sightings that I read about, they happened with multiple people seeing the exact same thing, and so if this was the case, it really doesn't make sense as to how multiple people would have the exact same hallucination at the exact same time. I think that kind of kills this theory as well. So.
Don't disagree. Jerry?
I just Googled that, and apparently there was no sightings of him on the bridge, but there were sightings of him flying around and above the bridge on the day of the collapse.
If only people had cell phones back then, could have snapped a picture.
Right?
Very true.
So, Jerry, what do you think?
I don't know what to think. I really don't. It's it's one of them. One of the things that surprises me the most about all of this is the fact that all the sightings stopped. Because that almost never happens, right? Even when it's fake, even when it's people just trying to get their 15 minutes of fame. But in this case, the sightings stopped early in 67. So that surprises me as much or more than any of it. Yeah. Kind of weird. Brett, were you through?
Definitely bizarre.
Well, for my part, I was given the 3 M's to cover: the myth, the media, and the Mothman Festival. with the myths, there's been a lot of myths associated with Mothman over the years. One of the first comes from the very beginning, that he appears before disasters, the harbinger of doom. Obviously, as we discussed, this one started very soon after the Silver Bridge fell. Shortly thereafter, there was the myth that Mothman wasn't even from Earth at all, that he is an interdimensional being. Steve, I think you mentioned that a while back about one of the possible reasons or listed for Bigfoot was that they're not even from Earth, that they're from another dimension. With Mothman, this idea links Mothman to UFO sightings, Men in Black type sightings, and they suggest that he's part of a larger paranormal ecosystem. Some also say that Mothman is a tulpa. A tulpa is a thought form, an entity created through concentrated thought and visualization. Kind of goes back to what Brett was saying about some of the social scientists and their theories for how this could have happened. Some paranormal researchers suggest that Mothman is a psychic projection born from, again, as Brett was saying, from Cold War anxiety or local trauma. Yeah, some people really stretch trying to come up with some excuses, don't they? That one to me just makes zero sense at all. Some believe that he's connected to Native American folklore. Some link Mothman to the Shawnee Wingman, which was supposedly a spirit that was said to bring misfortune. And this one suggests that Mothman could be a modern incarnation of the ancient regional lore of the Shawnee Wingman. There's also theories that suggest that the Mothman is connected to UFO sightings. Zero evidence to back that up, just people tossing around ideas. You guys heard about the bird theory? The bird theory says that the Mothman was just, one of you mentioned it, I forget which one, says that he was nothing more than a misidentified crane. Again, you're really reaching to me to come up with that. With all the people who have supposedly had sightings, with their descriptions to try to explain this away as a crane is pretty far-fetched. And of course, some say that it's nothing more than a government cover-up. Some believe that the TNT area was used for secret experiments and that Mothman is either a mutated creature or a surveillance entity gone rogue. You know, as weird and as crazy as that might sound, I would believe that over that he's a crane. I just don't buy the crane theory. What do you guys think?
I would agree.
I would agree. What about the chances Mothman just packed up and moved?
You would think that he would show up somewhere else, though.
Exactly.
He has. That's what I was going to bring up. And as late as 2011, there was over 100 verified sightings of Mothman in the Chicago, Illinois area, of all places.
Well,
why
listen,
you'd want to leave West Virginia and go to Chicago blows me away.
What time period is this?
This happened from around. They started around 2011, and they've been sighted all the way up until 2020. In 2017 alone, there were as many as 55 sightings in Chicago.
I would want all those people who witnessed that drug tested, and then I'd believe it.
A minute ago, Steve said verified sightings, and I'm thinking verified by who?
Well, more than one person at the same time. But
yeah, I'm just saying, walking through big cities, there's a lot of crazy people out there. Listen, if you're a listener and you saw Mothman, I'm not saying you might have, but for me to believe it, I would need some credible people. If it was a police officer or somebody like that, maybe, but.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, that covers the myths. As far as media, the Mothman is one of the more talked about, discussed cryptids there is. I think both Steve and Brett was talking about John Keel's 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies, which was really instrumental in this legend becoming extremely well known. But that book was only the beginning. Small Town Monsters has released 2 documentaries about Mothman. In 2017, they had The Mothman of Point Pleasant. 2020, they come out with The Mothman Legacy. There was a 2019 digital documentary series released on YouTube and Amazon called Hellier. It includes a segment in the second season that was dedicated just to the Mothman. We talked about the Mothman Prophecies, the book. It was later adapted into a 2002 film of the same name that starred Richard Gere. Numerous cryptozoology paranormal books have been written about the Mothman. The Mothman has been featured on television shows such as Unsolved Mysteries, Monsters and Mysteries in America. He's also been featured in Ancient Aliens. Numerous folk songs and bluegrass ballads have been inspired by the Point Pleasant legend. Magic the Gathering, the game, has a card called the Wise Mothman. So, what happens when a cryptid outlives its sightings? Brett mentioned the sightings stopped back in '67. So, what happens when a cryptid continues and outlives its sightings? When the panic fades, the bridge is rebuilt, when the red eyes vanish. Well, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, the answer is simple. You throw a party. And that's exactly what they've done ever since 2002. On the 3rd weekend in September, Point Pleasant hosts the Mothman Festival. Thousands of believers, skeptics, and curious people descend on this little, small, quiet Appalachian town. They have cosplay contests, cryptid-themed food trucks, guided tours of the infamous TNT area. And yes, there is a towering 12-foot statue of the man himself, Mothman, complete with rippling metallic wings, glowing red eyes. Now, this festival is part carnival, part pilgrimage, and it's not just about the creature, it's about the community that grew around it. Point Pleasant didn't bury this legend. They built a brand. So, next time you're driving through West Virginia and the fog is rolling in a little too thick, make sure you keep an eye on the sky. You never know what might be watching or flying above your car.
They're like the Hawk 2 of the cryptid world.
They are.
They got the one-hit wonder, and they're just milking it for everything they can get.
Yes, they are.
It's like Jerry's Dairy Farm, right?
That's right. Milk it for all it's worth.
Oh, man.
Well,
Yeah,
kudos
hey,
to them.
Yeah, if the Mothman Festival is listening, Jerry has already agreed that if we could get in, that he would dress up as a 7-foot-tall Mothman. He's got the stilts and everything. That's what he said.
We've tried for 3 years now to get into the Mothman Festival, Jerry.
We
Still haven't been able to do it. Speaking of, go ahead.
I started saying we understand their reasoning. They have a very limited area. They can't expand. They can't have more vendors. Apparently, they have a group of vendors they've been using for several years. They like them. They trust them. So they're not going to start kicking those guys out to make room for someone new that they don't know. So we understand. We certainly still hope that we could hopefully move up the list someday.
Now, as far as festivals go, we are actually going, our next festival is in October. We're going to the UC Bigfoot Festival down in Crossville, Tennessee. So if you're in Central Tennessee and you want to meet us, minus Brett, who's going to be running for whatever reason that day, how crazy does that sound? Jerry and I will be down. We're going to be interviewing people, talking to people, and we hope to see everybody down there in Crossville, Tennessee.
Also, if you're in South Central Kentucky, it's not very far away. I was born and raised in Monticello, and we used to go down to Crossville often.
Yeah, very, very. Crossville has Tennessee Legend. It has a Tennessee Legend distillery down there, and I would often ride my bike down there just to partake, if you will, to bring some home for Christmas gifts. Good whiskey in Crossville. Nice pizza place down there too. Of course, you know me. I'm going to find the hole in the wall pizza joint wherever we go.
You have got to be one of the few people in Central Kentucky that leaves the state to go find good, decent bourbon or whiskey, not just bourbon.
Well, it's not for me. I don't drink that stuff.
That's a great point, Jerry. I never really thought about that.
What?
So many
That
people
you-
come here. We're known to be one of the whiskey capitals of the world. Steve,
To be
he's
fair,
more than
Tennessee
that.
whiskey is famous too. I
It
guess.
is.
So.
Jack Daniels, all that.
Robin and my buddy Dave, who both drink bourbon and whiskey, say that Tennessee Legends has the smoothest alcohol whiskey, bourbon, whatever you want to call it, that they've ever drank. I can personally tell you that the vodka is very good. I don't like whiskey, but I'll partake of some vodka occasionally. But it's excellent. I mean, I've never had anything bad from there. So, anywho,
So back
Go
to Mothman. So we were talking about the different media and all the documentaries and movies. So it got me thinking, what is your all's favorite movie, either about a cryptid or that has a cryptid in it? What's your all's favorite movie?
Ooh. Mine's very recent, actually. I can just go ahead and tell you. There's a movie out there that's called Exist, and it is a very it's not a horror movie, but it's definitely a scary movie about some young, your typical group of young teenagers that wander in someplace they shouldn't, and accidentally, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember, I think they actually hit a junior Sasquatch with their car on accident, and Mama comes, and Mama ain't happy. And it is a great ride. You can get it on, I think I watched that on Amazon
Prime.
movies, Amazon Prime. Worth a watch. It doesn't look like much. Very much worth a watch. Exist is what it's called. What about you,
I
Jerry?
would say the Mothman Prophecies movie that I mentioned earlier, the movie from the book starring Richard Gere. You guys ever saw it?
Nope.
Mm-mm. Probably should have watched it before doing this episode.
What's yours, Brett?
And so I have some obscure ones. So the first one, Steve, you're gonna love this. It's a cartoon, and it's the Goofy movie. They run into Bigfoot while they're camping, and he eats all their stuff, and then he breaks their car and stuff. So that'd be one of them. The second one is also animated. It's Monsters Inc., which they have the Yeti, where he's making snow cones. You remember that, Steve?
Does that even count? Really?
What do you mean? It's got a cryptid in it.
I am so disappointed in you, Brett. There's a reason your name's not on the sign.
I got a question for you, Brett.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, if you had to cast Mothman in a modern disaster movie, who would you pick to play him?
All right. I have somebody. You guys know who Hafthor Bjornsson is? The mountain?
Yeah.
I'm picking him. And you could use you don't even have to give him wings. He's got his lats are so freaking big. They could just paint him up as wings. Dude's massive. He's 6'10", 500 pounds.
But how are you going to get that guy flying?
It's CGI.
There you go. My answer for that would be Adam Driver. I just think he has the right persona, that brooding intensity, that offbeat energy. I think he would play the part well.
Oof. So if you gave him a speaking, I feel like Adam Driver is just such a good actor to waste him on you know what I mean? You got to give Mothman some speaking parts.
How about, this is my pick, Cillian Murphy. Nobody broods better than Cillian Murphy. That movie Red Eye is
He's a good one. He's a good one.
spooky.
He's
I like
a really
all
good
this.
one.
I can't think of anything he's been in that I didn't say, damn, that was good.
They're saying he might be the new Voldemort in the Harry Potter series. It's coming out.
Well, that'd be the first thing I'd say. That wasn't so good. Harry Potter
crazy.
kind of sucks.
That's the most wild thing you ever said.
Well, if they could just take out Quidditch, it might be okay. That's a real freaking game now. I saw it on ESPN.
Yeah,
46.
it's that. No, Steve, the Quidditch is that good that they made it a sport. It's on ESPN.
Dude.
That's how good the sport is.
No, that's
Yeah, it is. What do you mean? She came up with all the rules.
Right after the Quidditch match on that exact same ESPN channel was a arcade basketball teams. And it looked like, my mom could have been on that team. It probably would have been better than half the people on that professional team, on your professional sports, you own ESPN. Blech.
Steve, you're talking about professional Quidditch players. You think they got the cream of the crop athletes?
Dude, they had uniforms. They had everything.
Oh, no, I'm sure they do, but I'm just saying, I don't know many people who aspire to be Quidditch players.
3,026 years old and could be better than them. I'm just saying. Just saying. Mothman, thumbs up. Brett, do we need to hear more or less about Mr. Mothman?
I think the sightings and just the legend of the Mothman, I think it's worth talking about. At least it's a cool story, and it is a cool cryptid for people to theorize about, like, what is it, So I give it a thumbs up.
I would agree with everything you said, and I lean toward Mothman being something, if existing, is something that is of alien origin. But thumbs up, no doubt.
I plan on going to the Mothman Festival. I'm not going to be hypocritical and turn around and say that it doesn't need more coverage if I plan on going to another state to their festival. So thumbs up for me as well.
We should have went there this year.
I was just about to say that it would be kind of fun just to go. I mean, we could hand out cards and stuff there, but just to experience it as just go to the festival and not necessarily have to worry about interviewing people. And
I agree.
everything.
So many of these we've gotten in the habit of we're going, but we don't actually get to enjoy the festival very much.
Very true.
I'm hoping the one down at UC will be a little bit better, but that's easier done when there's all three of us. Like the one that we did at
in Stanton.
Red River Gorge Bigfoot Festival, where all three of us there, then we could actually take a little break and walk around. That was cool.
Yeah.
But anywho, I'm on the fence as far as whether I believe. I believe that because of the number of witnesses, something was afoot, but I don't know what. I don't have a clip. I don't even have a guess.
100% agree.
So, man, this has been an interesting episode. If you'll stay tuned, we have a great bonus story after this commercial break.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number 1, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre-approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number 2, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number 3, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number 4, consider all the costs. Number 5, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
Want to suggest future episodes? Share your ghost, cryptid, or personal encounter stories? Or let us know how much you love or hate us. Reach out to us at newsworthywithstevenjerry.com.
And now, back to the story.
Guys, y'all ain't going to believe this bonus story. It's crazy. And it's all situated around the jungles in India. Animals in the jungle of India are attracted to a cross that has scientists baffled. In the small town of Mysura, India, a centuries-old monastery has long been known for a large cross that hangs just outside its walls. For decades, locals have whispered about something extraordinary: elephants, tigers, even monkeys gathering at the cross, lingering around as if paying respect. One traveler, curious about the rumors, decided to investigate. He set up hidden cameras, and the footage stunned everyone. Herds of elephants pausing during their journeys, tigers brushing up against the stone and rubbing their backs on it, monkeys quietly circling beneath it. When researchers reviewed the recordings, they uncovered something even more strange. Elephants were literally altering their annual migration routes just to go past the cross. Scientists were baffled, and to find answers, they spoke with the monks. The monastery revealed that the cross had been erected generations ago in honor of the man who founded the church. According to legend, he lived in harmony with all of the surrounding wildlife, even walking face to face with tigers without being attacked. Locals say he was buried beneath the very spot where the cross now stands. And the stories continue to circulate about his bond with the elephants that once roamed the forest. Whether the animals are drawn by something supernatural or whether they are somehow remembering a bond passed down through generations, no one can say for certain. But one thing is clear: this mystery reminds us how little we truly understand about the deeper connections between humans, animals, and nature.
And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.